Liam, huge problem.
What's up? I'm having to go into overtime here at work, so could you make this quick for me?
I was just told that my dad got into a car accident and is on his way to the hospital right now in the back of an ambulance.
Huh? He was in a car accident?
I'm thinking of heading over there right now.
Right now?
My mom isn't around anymore to deal with things like this, and my brother is overseas with his wife on vacation. I have to be the one to go and see him.
What hospital is your dad being taken to right now?
He's going to the emergency room at Hopkins Hospital.
Huh? Hopkins? That's all the way over in Manchester, right? That's all the way out where your family's house is, right?
Yes. This accident happened close to his house while he was out. I'm sorry, but I am heading over there right now.
Wait. I just wanted to make sure of this, but in 2 days you'll still be around to make it, right?
In 2 days?
I'm talking about Taylor's wedding. My little sister Taylor. Your husband's little sister's wedding is in 2 days.
I understand that she's having a wedding and all, but I'm not sure how my dad is going to be doing by then. At this time, I don't have an answer for you regarding that.
Well then, make sure you do something that'll lead to you making over here on time.
You can say that all you want, but I'm not sure how things will be at that time yet.
Listen, Clara, this is going to be my cute little sister's biggest day. No matter what else is going on, her wedding is your most important event.
I understand that her wedding is important, but I'm not just going to leave my dad if he's still in a terrible state.
I'll not allow you to cancel last minute on my sister.
And I'm telling you that I don't want to be absent from her wedding, but at this point in time, I'm not really sure what to say yet as my answer, considering I'm not even sure what's happened to my dad yet. Once I'm able to see how much damage he sustained in the accident, I will be able to give you an answer. For the time being, just let me be with my dad.
Jeez.
I'm going to go see my dad now. Good morning, Liam. This is about my dad.
Yeah? I'm sure you're going to tell me that you'll be able to make it to my sister's wedding, right?
I'm really sorry to have to say this, but I'm not so sure I can make it. Wait, you have to understand that I really do want to be there.
Your dad? Is he really?
Wait. He's not in that kind of a state right now, but he suffered some serious injuries in that crash. No one else from my family is able to come and be with him right now, so I'll have to stay by his side for the next couple of days to make sure things are fine.
Well, during the wedding, you can at least take that time to come out and be with us.
Please don't say something like that when my dad is in this state. It'll already take me 4 hours to just get to the wedding, and then that'll take half a day before I have to drive another 4 hours back. That's a whole day. I can't be away from my dad for that long when anything could happen to him in that time.
I think I'm telling you to make this wedding your priority.
I'll make sure to apologize to Taylor later on for this, so would you please lay off me?
Jeez. Tell me that this whole thing about your dad being in some accident is just a lie.
What?
You sure you're not just trying to cover up the fact that you're out cheating on me right now?
Why would I be cheating on you?
Well, if you're not, then come to this wedding. Look, you can't make such a big deal out of your dad getting into a simple car accident. What the hell was your dad thinking getting into a crash at this time? Don't tell me that he got into the crash on purpose for you.
You're really starting to take things too far now, Liam.
Do you really think you're in the position to be getting upset with me right now? If you don't come to my sister's wedding, like I've asked you to, then I'm going to divorce you.
All right.
Great. Now make sure you're there on time.
I'm going to prioritize my dad.
Huh?
I'll make sure to apologize to your sister later, so that should be enough.
What the hell is this? Do you have any idea what you'd be doing leaving a seat open like this in my sister's family seating? You really think I'm going to let you get away with doing something so insane?
Your sister happens to have some common sense, so unlike you, she would most likely get mad at you and defend me for not wanting to be at that wedding. Because she knows that my dad comes first when there's an emergency involving him.
Taylor would never get mad at me over that.
Anyway, I am prioritizing my dad. Also, I've already made sure to tell Taylor about how my dad got into an accident and that I won't be able to make it to her wedding.
Excuse me?
She still hasn't replied to me, but I think someone like her will be able to understand me.
What the hell have you done?
I need to start taking care of my dad now as he's getting ready for surgery, and I need to make sure he's prepared for that.
You hold it right there. I will not forgive you for cancelling on my sister. I'll tell you one more time. If you don't show up to that wedding, then I'm divorcing you. If you don't want that happening, then come to this wedding. Understand?
Clara, I'm so sorry for only just seeing your messages to me now. Is your dad going to be all right? Sorry for getting you all worked up about this, Taylor. He's not in life-threatening condition right now, but he has been very badly injured in that crash and is undergoing surgery now. That means, as for your wedding tomorrow, I don't mind you being absent one bit, so please don't be worried about me. You had told me before that right now your brother and his wife are overseas for work, right? That's right. Although my brother's wife will be coming back to the States here pretty soon to help out with my dad after things settle down a little. But since they're on the other side of the world right now, it's going to take her some time to get back here. So you really are the only family that can be with your dad right now then. I want you to stay right where you are beside him and make sure he's okay. Are you really okay with this? Of course. It's your family emergency after all. I understand that my brother is making a huge deal out of all of this right now, but he's the only one who doesn't seem to get it. I'm sure that he'll settle down soon here and come to understand things, but this is always the way he acts around me, and it's kind of a pain in the butt. But my parents and I have come to accept that he's just an idiot, so we leave him be until he calms down again. Ah, is that right? And this isn't even his wedding, so he has no right telling you that you have to be here or not. My fiancé and I are both aware that you can't make it, and that should be enough to get him to shut up. Now, you take really good care of your dad. Thank you, Taylor.
Hey, Clara. You still over there with your dad or something?
I am. For the time being, I'm going to have to go back and forth between the hospital and my dad's house. So that's why I've started staying at this house while he's still in the hospital.
Not only did you cancel last minute on my little sister's wedding, but you left me, your husband, here all by myself now.
My husband?
That's right, you are my freaking wife. The only thing you should be prioritising is what I ask from you. Leave that old and dying man there by himself and come back to me. If you don't follow my command right now, then it's a divorce.
I know that, and that's why I already handed in the divorce papers for us.
What?
Just before the wedding, you told me that if I didn't come, that you would be divorcing me, right? And just yesterday, I got some mail from you that happened to be the divorce paperwork with all your signatures on them. And considering I didn't go to the wedding, I went ahead and handed in those papers for us.
What? Wait, I was just saying all that in order to get you to come.
But you even went and sent me the paperwork, right? You had signed all the papers and filled everything out for me. Seriously, you thought that you could just use divorce as a way of threatening me into doing everything you asked?
No, that's some...
Answer me right now, Liam. I mean, you always loved talking to me like you were at the top and knew everything and anything, so give me an answer.
Wait, that's... Would it be wrong for us to hand in our marriage papers again?
Excuse me?
Well, look, my little sister only just got married, and a few days later her older brother got divorced, and seems like Tyler is really pissed at me right now.
Ah, you don't have to worry about all that. Everyone hates you now, including Taylor.
Huh?
Liam, from what I've heard, at Taylor's wedding you would not stop talking crap about how bad of a wife I was, right? Taylor had already known about what was going on with me and why I couldn't make it to her wedding. She even went and told all her friends and family about where I was, and they all agreed that it was better I stay with my dad than come all the way out there. But the moment you took a sip of alcohol, you started to shout about how you would divorce me for not listening to you. Things about how much you hated me and wanted to leave me and couldn't stand me anymore. And when people would walk away from you as you continued to go on and on about me, you started to yell louder trying to get someone to come over and agree with you. I heard that Taylor's wedding wasn't even halfway over with yet before she had to get people to haul you out of there and lock the doors on you.
You know about all that as well?
After that had happened to you out of pure alcoholic rage, you went and sent me those papers, right? Anyway, you and I are divorced now. I'm pretty sure I've said all I've needed to you now, so consider this the moment where our ties are cut, please.
What the hell?
And don't act like you haven't been using some of my savings without asking.
What?
Just the other day, I was planning on paying for my dad's first round of medical bills while at the hospital, and so I had a look at my savings account. I saw on there that over the past couple of months, someone has been going through and taking out small amounts of money from there, adding up to around $30,000 in total. I was shocked to see that it was you doing that.
Where's the evidence that I did it?
When I had a look at where the money was being transferred to, there was your account number in the transaction history. What the hell have you been using my money on?
When I heard that Taylor would be getting married, I thought that I should celebrate, so I went to a strip club.
You went to a strip club?
Let me just tell you right now that I was not cheating on you. There was this one stripper that I was really into, but I was only going there to drink and watch her dance.
Oh, is that right? And then?
So, every time I went there, I was using my credit card to pay. I'd been doing this for months, and after a while I went and had a look at my bank account, and realised I didn't have enough money to pay the debt off.
And so you took money out of my account?
When you and I went to the bank together, I got a look at your savings account number.
Jesus frickin' Christ, Liam!
This all happened before the divorce, so why do you care? And since you and I were married at the time, your money that you had saved up was the both of ours. So there's no problem with me taking some of it.
Well, that right there is a big misunderstanding on your part.
Huh?
That money that I've saved up from before you and I got married is protected by law and remains for only me to use. It does not ever become yours to use as well just because you and I got married.
Are you kidding me?
I am not kidding you. But thankfully I already talked with your parents about all of this and they are paying me back. Along with things like the settlement I'm getting from you and all that. This means I'll be getting $40,000 from your parents, which you'll soon have to pay them.
$40,000?
Remember that it's your parents who will be asking for that from you next, so be ready. But you should mostly be prepared for just how pissed those two will be with you after what I've had to tell them.
No freaking way. They were already furious with me because of what happened at the wedding. $40,000.
Well, now that you're aware of all that, I am leaving. And I mean that as in I am never going to talk to you ever again.
Wait a sec.
What else do you want from me?
I'll help you take care of your dad from now on, so let me marry you again.
No thank you.
You replied to something like that quickly. You can't be serious.
Well, I don't want to be around you anymore.
Can't you at least put a little thought into it or something?
The reason I don't have to put any thought into my answer to you is because I've already thought long and hard about it and have come to realize how much I hate you now. Even my dad is aware of what all you've been doing and is so upset with you right now that if he wasn't in a hospital bed, he would be at your doorstep waiting for you to come out so that he could beat the hell out of you.
What?
That's all. Goodbye forever now, you pile of garbage. And that was it between Liam and I. I was only able to be married to Liam for about 1.5 years, but the fact that he cared too much about his sister and would even celebrate her by going to a strip club and all that made it pretty clear to me that he shouldn't have married me at all. As of right now, he's a divorced man and is hated by his little sister that he cared about way too much as a brother. Right now, he's still working at the same company he's always been a part of, but at that wedding, there happened to be a few of his coworkers there by coincidence. They all saw how he acted when he got drunk and watched as he was dragged out of the wedding. Since then, the workplace has been very tough on Liam, as he's surrounded by coworkers that are whispering about what happened with him all the time and giving him the cold shoulder. He's not able to leave his job there, though, as both of his parents are whooping his butt about paying them back that $40,000 they gave me. So until he's finished paying off his debt, he is stuck in that company. He can't even try to get himself fired either, because both his mom and dad told him that if they were to find out he left that job, they would make sure he could never work again. So for the time being, Liam will just have to put up with his new sucky life and hope that all of that cold shoulder and rumors about him don't drive him insane. I'm sure that even right now he's at work, hiding in some corner office as he tries to get anything done. all while listening to the whispers of his coworkers talking about how much of a jerk he is. As for things regarding my dad, he has finished going through all the surgeries he required, and is now just resting at the hospital. He should be out of there in another month or so, where he will then be able to start physical therapy with the support of myself and my sister-in-law. I've completely moved into his house now and found myself a job around here, and plan to stay here for the rest of my life, making sure that my dad is all right and doesn't get into another accident like that again.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.
Trinity? Could you tell me the reason why you and your husband were in my room earlier? If you guys are planning to stay the night here, would you both please go to the guest bedroom? Oh, hi Ari. I was surprised that you actually went outside the house for once, but I guess you're home now. This place is my home, so of course I'd be coming back. Now, could you and your husband please come here and get your things out of my room? What? What's wrong with us wanting to be in there? Do you really think it's a bad thing that my husband and I want to get a taste of what this room feels like in this penthouse here? Then go to the guest bedroom. It has the same view as my room, but the only difference is that it's not already occupied. We only just put our stuff down in there, though. You really think you can just come into this house and do as you please? I'm sorry, but my bed is off limits to anyone else, as it was specifically made to my needs. I get that it's comfy, but it's not meant for you. Oh? So you found out what I was really after in that room then? Well, if you chose my room over the guest bedroom, the only real difference is the bed, so that was pretty obvious to me. If you and your husband do anything in that bed while I'm out of the house, I am telling you right now that you'll both be charged $10,000 to get me a new one. $10,000 is what you paid for that? You really expect me to believe something like that? I hope you do, considering that's the price I had to pay. So come and get your things right now. The fact that everything always has to be about you is so annoying. Ari, you've really gone and done it this time. What did I do? You went and took some of my money out of my purse, right? Huh? I am not in that much of a need for money where I'd do something like that to my own sister. Yeah, sure. That's probably because you're always taking mom and dad's money like some thieving parasite. What did you say? What are you talking about? The other day, I was in your bedroom, right? Well, I had accidentally left my purse in there when you kicked my husband and I out. So when I went in there to grab it today, there should have been around $500 in it, but there was only $200. Huh? I don't know what happened to your money. Actually, I never even saw that your purse was left in my room these past couple of days. Did you really forget to take it out of my bedroom the other day? That's what I expected the criminal to start saying next. I already had a talk with both mom and dad, and they told me they never went into your room. So that would mean while my purse was forgotten about in your room, you found it and took $300 out of it before putting it back where I had forgotten it. This is so stupid. So you're not going to confess to any of it? Hey, Trinity, could all of this be happening because you want to start living in my penthouse? We are not talking about your penthouse right now. This is about that money which was in my purse. I want you to give me back that $300 you stole from me first before we talk about anything else here. I told you I don't know what happened to your money. Jeez, Ari, this is exactly the reason for why you're 40 years old and can't get married still, right? Now, what does that have to do with anything? You know what a lot of people call women like you? They call you a middle-aged woman still living in her nursery room. Huh? You don't work any kind of a job and you live off the money your parents make. A 40-year-old, useless shut-in. I have a job, though. You have no idea how hard it is to make money in this world and probably still think it just grows on trees or something. And that's why you ended up stealing my money from my purse. I have told you 3 times now, I don't know anything about that purse. It's so upsetting that a woman in her 40s had to steal money from her little sister. For Christ's sake. So you have no interest in actually listening to anything I have to say, do you? I'm not going to think of some money-stealing criminal woman as my older sister anymore, so it's over between you and I. I'm cutting ties to you. From now on, my husband and I will be living in this penthouse. It kind of sucks that Mom and Dad are still going to be living here with us, but that will only last a couple more years before they both croak. And while they're still around, they'll make for 2 great housekeepers. So this is goodbye to you, Ari. Have fun on the streets now after you're kicked out of this place. I knew this is what you were wanting. I have to say, the fact that you've already lived close to half of your life and have still not gotten a taste of the real world is really disappointing. So hopefully, kicking you out of this penthouse once and for all helps you grow a little. Aren't you embarrassed to be 40 now and still not have any experience working for a company? And that's not even as bad as how ashamed you should be feeling for stealing $300 out of my purse. I'm not unemployed, and I was not the one that stole your money. But if this is how you want to play this game, then I'll play along with you. I'll be out of this place as soon as possible. Good, good, good. I will praise you on the fact that you came around to accepting your crimes pretty quickly there. I want you out of this penthouse in 1 hour, all right? Once again, I'm going to have to praise you for getting all your things together and moving out of this house in under an hour. Honestly, hearing praise from someone like you gives me the opposite feeling of being happy. I'm sure you're dying on the inside right now, right? That's right. That bet of yours, the $10,000 one. I'll be taking it now. So what you mean is you'll be paying me $10,000 to take it, right? What are you going on about? It wasn't even you that paid for the bet in the first place. It was Dad that got this thing for you. Excuse me? Really? Knowing about how you forced Dad to buy you this kind of an expensive bed, even though he was already paying for you to eat and sleep in this house, is really sly of you. And that pisses me off a little. I cannot believe that for the past 2 years, ever since you completely shut yourself into this place, you've done nothing but take advantage of others and make things all about yourself. You've received enough of everyone's money now, right? From now on, it's my turn to lay back and enjoy this fancy penthouse while Mom and Dad pay for my husband and I. Trinity, you really have no idea what you've gotten yourself into. Wait, it's more like you've just forgotten everything about what happened a few years ago. Trying to threaten me by saying some really vague and stupid things like that aren't going to scare me away. Don't you ever come back here, all right? Bye-bye. I'll hold you to that then. Ari, hey! What is this about this place costing $16,000 a month to live in? This penthouse has already been paid off by Dad now, right? He just came up to me and said that if I want to start living here with my husband forever, then we'll need to start paying the rent. And what's this about you having been the one paying the rent this whole time? What's Dad even going on about right now? How could a jobless parasite like you have had the money to afford a place like this? I told you I'm not unemployed, Trinity. And if you'd like a little more detail into what I'm doing for work, I'm running a decently sized company as the CEO. Stop lying, you idiot! Mom already told me about how you never leave the house except for maybe a couple of times a month. That's because I'm normally working remotely from my bedroom. And the only reason I really have to leave the house at all is to go to the office building and hold meetings or talk with some customers in person. That's what Mom meant by that. Now, listen here. We are not living in the 20th century anymore. This is the 21st century now, where people can be employed yet not ever have to leave their home. And recently, due to a lot of world events, companies have been more open to letting their employees work from home instead of having to make any commute into the office. I don't need to listen to you talking about all that crap. And another thing, Trinity, has your mental health gotten any better? I ask that because it seems that you've only gotten worse when it comes to how you twist situations to your benefit, so that you never have to listen to anything others are saying to you. Did you stop going to see that therapist or something? Come on! I had thought this whole time that Dad bought this amazing penthouse with the money he got from his pension after he left his company and retired. So you forgot what happened with Dad then when he retired? Come back here already, Ari! I can't do that. Remember that I'm holding you to your word now? And that word was you saying for me to never return there again. But there's nobody here that can afford to pay this kind of rent. Well, then you should have actually been listening to me. Shut the hell up. Ari! Both Mom and Dad left the penthouse. They even took all the things that were left over in your room and left. There's not a single person in this house that can help pay for the rent now. My husband's been telling me over and over again that he's not earning enough to pay for this place. $16,000 is way too crazy for him and I to afford. Well, it's not like you'll be paying it anyway, considering that this is the last month you can live in that penthouse. After that, the lease will be finished and you both will have to leave. What? I made sure to end my lease there a while ago, and this was the last month before the landlord said he'd be placing the penthouse back on the market. If you want to continue living there, then you'll have to apply for the place and hope you're accepted. But of course, that'll mean you both have to start paying rent. What the hell are you talking about? It's only been 2 years since you, Mom, and Dad moved into this place, right? I know that. And from the very beginning, we only really were planning to stay there for around 2 years. Why would you only want to stay for that short period of time? Trinity, because of you, Mom and Dad were no longer able to live in the house they had before. You know, the one you and I both grew up in? You seriously forgot literally everything that happened back then? What? You went and forced one of your former classmates to give up their husband and let you take him, right? And, well, that former classmate of yours, Grandpa, just so happened to be the technical owner of the land Mom and Dad's house was on. That man ended up getting very, very upset with you and the family and forced both Mom and Dad out of their house to have it torn down. And then he went and sold the land to someone else. But before he could do that, Dad was forced by him to pay for the house's demolition and for the land to be cleaned up, which cost Dad most of his retirement and all. What the hell? How? So that's what happened with you. You didn't forget about what happened, rather you just never cared about how it would later affect your parents. But Ari, I told Mom and Dad that I could step in and pay off the settlement that was being asked from them by your former classmate and her parents. But they told me it wasn't any of my responsibility. So I thought, at the very least, I would take Mom and Dad, who had lost their house at the fault of you, and I would put them in a penthouse with me, since the both of them had always wanted to live in one of the skyscrapers downtown. So after they had paid all their dues that you caused, they came to me and we moved into the penthouse together. Mom and Dad were in tears about what I was giving them, and I asked them how long they wanted to live there, and they both agreed on 2 years. So that's why your lease is over with now? Although I'm kind of surprised that Mom and Dad even allowed you to come over to my penthouse after all your cheating husband and thieving self had done to them. Huh? Are you aware why Mom and Dad were both living with me in that penthouse now? Because of all that you'd done. And if you'd like to know, the only reason you and your husband were actually allowed past security is because I allowed it. What the? I had always thought that Mom and Dad were so happy to pay off that settlement for me, and then chose to buy that penthouse with Dad's retirement after I left. And that you forced your way into there after leaving the part-time job you had and making them pay for all your needs. I thought that if Mom and Dad could afford a penthouse like that and pay for a full-grown woman like you, then they really were rich, and that got me all excited. Well, in reality, all of this was forced to happen because of what you'd done, and it was rough for all of us since. I really thought you already knew about everything that happened since you were the cause of all of it. I would really like to know what's inside that massive head of yours. It can't be considered a true brain or anything by any form of scientific method, can it? And this is why Mom and Dad were asking you to please go and see a therapist. I never thought my own sister would say that about me. Hey, can you tell me where Mom and Dad moved to? Not happening. Why not? Because they've both demanded that I never tell you. Then where have you moved to, Ari? I'm sure that things are so lonely for a single 40-year-old woman, right? My husband and I will come live with you to help make you feel better. What a freaking joke. I'm not even single anymore. What? You got married without telling me? That's right. Then how about you let my husband and I live there and we can all be a happy double couple family? I don't want you causing any trouble for my husband, so I'm not telling you where I live. No way. How about you stop acting like everything's about you and get real, Trinity? You have now not only been disowned by both Mom and Dad, but you've also lost the privilege of calling me your older sister. What? Honestly, something like this should have happened a lot sooner. I think right after you stole that man away from someone else and married him, while also causing both Mom and Dad to lose their home and money, we all should have cut ties to you. Maybe Mom and Dad both thought that after a few years you'd change, but considering the kind of freak you are mentally, there is no way you'd get any better. You didn't even bother going through more therapy, instead just making up a plan to have me kicked out of the house by saying I stole your money. Ugh, there's no hope for you anymore. You're not going to be living in that penthouse for much longer, and you won't be finding any of us. Wait! The apartment my husband and I had been living in before, we ended the lease on it, so... Well, that penthouse's lease is also ending, so find somewhere new to live from now on. But there's nowhere left we can go! Make sure you're out of there before the end of this month. Goodbye forever. Wait a second, Ari! We can figure something out for me. Trinity and I are 10 years apart in age, which means she's 30 years old now, yet you probably would never be able to guess that by the way she acts so much like a selfish and spoiled brat. Ever since I can remember, she's always been wanting the things I had. But who could have seen her behavior getting any worse to the point she'd go after other people's things, like their husband? And it's a bit more than 2 years since that happened. These last 2 years, my parents and I have done our best to move past the horrible memories she implanted in us. But after thinking she'd be back a better person, she only proved to us that her mental health was not fixable. And because of that, she's no longer a part of this family. On the day her and her husband had to leave that penthouse, they got into this huge fight that led to their divorce. But the issue there was that my sister had no money at all, so she couldn't afford to even rent the most basic of places. Therefore, she had to contact my rather hard ass of an aunt, who came and picked her up to move out with them and work on their farm. Our aunt went ahead and made a deal with Trinity, which was that by working on her farm and paying my parents back every cent they lost because of her 2 years ago, she would not have to be abandoned by the rest of the larger family as well. Seems that her life of having no money at all is going to continue on for a couple more years now.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.